So when I applied for the internship at the Center on Disabilities and Human Development, I was asked to give 3 areas that I was really interested for my internship, and I wrote down client interaction, event planning, and research. And Olivia, my mentor, actually ended up telling me we do have an event that needs to be planned called the Walk and Roll, and it was traditionally planned by families together, and so she told me I would be collaborating with them a lot to plan it. And about halfway through the process, we combined it with the family fair, which is usually put on by Palouse Alliance. So I ended up working with both Families Together and Palouse Alliance, and we combined the names and made it the Family Fair Walk and Roll. The Walk and Roll was traditionally focused on individuals with disabilities, teaching them about what resources were available to them in the community, and it was basically just a giant awareness walk for people with disabilities. So people from the community could show their support. And the Family Fair was a giant resource fair for the whole community. It was just all about every aspect of health: spiritual, physical, mental, emotional. So when we combined them, we realized that a lot of the target audience was the same, and so we didn't really have to change a whole lot. And so I pretty much planned everything from start to finish, every detail, and it was amazing. I got to work with Beth Ficklin from Families Together and Chris Oakley from Palouse Alliance and Greg Umbright. It was really just an amazing experience to discover that I really have a passion for event planning. As I was reflecting on the best medium to tell the story of my internship, I felt like a video would show my story in the most authentic way, because a huge part of why I love my internship so much was the people. And so I thought that if I could interview a couple of my coworkers, it would really show the part of my internship that I valued the most, which was the relationships. During the event, we got some really cool photos and some really awesome drone footage that we can use in the future for advertising purposes. So the following clip is an interview I did with Kiana Woods, who's a fellow trainee at the Center on Disabilities and Human Development with me. So this is Kiana. This is one of my fellow trainees at the center here, and she runs a project called Adaptive Movement. So if you want to just talk a little bit about what that is and how you kind of got that position, I guess.
Yeah, so I got this position in January. So I've only been here for a semester, but basically what adaptive movement is, it's for adults with all disabilities. It's adaptive because people that are in wheelchairs can come and get the same exercise and movement like everybody needs every week.
And are you doing physical therapy?
Yep.
Okay.
Going into physical therapy.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. So like for me as a trainee, I feel like we're given a lot of responsibility. For me, like writing a grant, it's always really scary right at the beginning, but then afterwards, I'm like so glad that they kind of forced me to do it. Did you have any like specific experiences where you were asked to do something and then you were like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this, but then afterwards you were like super happy that they made you do it?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like they've given me a lot of like the reins to everything. Like my project is very just me, which is a little scary. There's one thing, it was for the Tools for Life conference, which is a statewide conference, and they asked me to run my adaptive movement classes at this conference, which had like 200 plus students. I'm not super into public speaking either. It's like, so when they told me that, I was like, this is really scary, this is nerve-wracking, but it ended up being like such a fun experience. I got to meet amazing people, be a part of a statewide conference, so I'm glad that they pushed me. I also do think that this project has helped my public speaking, especially doing that, because I did have to speak in front of quite a few people.
Yeah, that's really cool. I feel like it's one of those things where you hear people say all the time, like you have to push yourself out of your comfort zone, but then when you're actually in a situation where you have to do something you really don't want to do, I don't want to do this, I want to say no, but then afterwards, like, it was such a cool experience. You actually volunteered at my event, which was the Family Fair Walk and Roll. From your perspective, you're not going to hurt my feelings. What are things that you felt like could have been better, or things that you thought went really well that you really enjoyed?
Honestly, I thought it was really well organized. It was so informational. I felt like a lot of people came. It was inviting, it was inclusive. I think maybe the walk part, it was a little hard to like get people's attentions.
One thing probably we could have done better is advertise that there was a specific time that the walk started. I think we did not a very good job at advertising, like there's going to be a walk start time this time, and so
Yeah.
people knew to show up at then, because there was only probably like 20 people
Yeah.
who did the actual walk, but there was about like 200 people who like were filtering
Yeah.
in and out throughout the day.
I think having the like start date or start time would have been helpful.
We didn't really realize that till afterwards, but well, thank you
You're
for
welcome.
doing this little interview with me.
Yeah.
Up next, I chose to interview Toby Schultz, who is a employee at the center as well. Toby is somebody that I work with frequently. He's always in the office. He works there full time. So every time I'm there, he's there, and he always comes up and says hi to me. He's the most friendly person ever. So this is Toby. Toby, how long have you worked here?
Over 20 years.
Over 20 years. And what do you do here at the center?
I'm the office assistant in cleaning.
In cleaning? So taking out the trash. I know sometimes you do organizing when you guys get packages and stuff. Toby came to my event, the Family Fair Walk and Roll. Did you have fun?
Yes.
What was your favorite part of the walk and roll?
Going around the track.
Yeah, and Toby we have pictures of Toby. He actually led the way when the walk started. What is your favorite part about working here at the center?
I would say all of the people.
Yeah, all the people. Yeah, because you've worked here a long time, so you know everyone, and probably some people who don't work here anymore. Yeah. Well, thank you, Toby. Thanks for taking the time to do this little interview with me.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So obviously, along with the really amazing friendships that I made at the center, there were some things that I personally learned, and a couple of those things were learning to value other people's opinions. So something that I really struggled with at times was thinking that my idea was the best. When we joined the walk and roll with the family fair, that was joining two entire organizations. The walk and roll was being planned by Families Together, and when we combined them, we included Police Alliance. So that added an entire other group of people that I had to work with. So learning to really listen to what people have to say and not just kind of dismiss it, I think was really valuable for me. I've been more used to having a lot of freedom to make those kinds of decisions myself, and so having to work with a team was really good for me. Another thing that I learned was just that I'm capable of so much more than I thought I was. Not have somebody leading me the entire way through just really showed me what I'm capable of, and maybe some passions that I had or skills that I have. So I think that overall it was just such a valuable learning experience and professionalism, and also just my own personal interests. I can't wait to take what I learned in this internship and use those skills in other jobs, whether they're directly related or not.